Nobody was sure what Alvin was going to do next. There would be problems finding a job because not everyone was going to hire somebody who was considered a cripple, a traitor, or both. However, it was essential, my parents said, to thwart any inclination Alvin might have to do nothing and just sulk and feel sorry for himself for the rest of his life while squeaking by on his pension. My mother wanted him to use his monthly disability check to put himself through college. She had asked around and been told that if he spent a year at Newark Academy, earning B's for the courses he got D's and F's in at Weequahic, more than likely he'd be able to go to the he'd be able to get into the University of Newark the following year. But my father couldn't imagine Alvin voluntarily going back to the 12th grade, even in a downtown private school at 22. And after all he'd been through, he needed as quickly as possible to get a job with a future. And for this my father proposed Alvin contacting Billy Steinem. Billy was the son who'd befriended Alvin back when he was Abe's driver, and if Billy was willing to make the case to his father for giving Alvin a second chance, maybe they would agree to find a place for him in the firm. A lowly job for now, but one in which he could redeem himself in Abe Steinheim's eyes. If need be, and only if need be, Alvin could get a start with Uncle Monty, who'd already come around to offer his nephew work at the produce market that had been in those bad early days when Alvin's stump was seriously broken down, and he was still in bed most of the time, and wouldn't allow the shades to be raised in our room out of his dread of catching so much as a glimpse of the little world in which he'd once been whole. Driving home from Penn Station in the car with my father and Sandy, he'd shut his eyes once the high school came into view rather than be reminded of the innumerable times he'd come bounding out of that building at the end of the day, unimpeded by bodily torment and equipped to pursue whatever he wanted. It was on the very afternoon before Uncle Monty's visit that I was a little late returning from school. It had been my turn to stay to clean the blackboards, and got home to discover Alvin was gone. I couldn't find him in his bed or in the bathroom or anywhere else in the flat, and so I ran outside to look for him in the backyard, and then, bewildered, raced back into the house, where, from the foot of the stairwell, I heard faint moaning sounds rising from below. Ghosts, the suffering ghosts of Alvin's mother and father. When I edged down the cellar stairs to see if they could be seen there as well as heard, what I saw instead, up by the front wall of the cellar, was Alvin himself, peering out of the horizontal little glass slit that looked at the street level onto Summit Avenue. He was in his bathrobe, a hand to help him maintain his balance, clutching the narrow sill. The other hand I couldn't see. He was using it for something that I was too young to know anything about. Though a little circle of window had been cleared of grime, he was watching the high school girls who lived on Keir Avenue walk home from Weequahic along our street, their legs scooting by the front hedge. Was about all he could have possibly seen. But seeing that much was enough and caused him to moan with what I took to be anguish at his no longer himself having two legs to walk on. I retreated silently up the stairs and out the back door, and squatted in the farther corner of our garage, plotting to run away to New York to live with Earl Axman. Only because it was getting dark, and I had homework to do, did I return to the house, stopping first to peek into the cellar to see if Alvin was still there. He wasn't, and so I dared to descend the stairs, dashing quickly past the ringer and around the trains, and once at the window and up on my toes, intending only to look out at the street the way he did, I discovered the whitewashed wall beneath the window slick and syrupy with an abundance of goo. Since I didn't know what masturbation was, I, of course, didn't know what ejaculate was. I thought it was pus. I thought it was phlegm. I didn't know what to think, except that it was something terrible. In the presence of a species of discharge as yet mysterious to me, I imagined it was something that festered in a man's body and then came spurting from his mouth when he was completely consumed by grief. And we will pause there.